Hello, population, and welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
Today we did We Are Robin #1, written by Lee Bermejo, art by Jorge Corona, Rob Haynes, and Carrie Randolph.
Can I even tell you how glad I am that you read the names?
I don't get it right most of the time. So, this was an interesting idea set in the current Batman DC continuity, because it builds off of Endgame and the current running Bat Gordon story. So, what'd you guys initially think of We Are Robin?
I think it's a cool place to take it.
I don't know what to think of it, I gotta be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought it was neat, but I was like, I don't know.
This felt like a Secret Wars Journal kind of story.
It kind of did.
Where it's like, cool.
Out of left field, right?
Well, out of left field, but also like, cool, that's a neat idea. Moving on.
I do think it's a really cool idea. And I guess okay, this is really silly, but like, as I was reading it, I was like, you know, Robin's don't have the best track record for living.
Yeah.
And we're just collecting a lot of them.
So it's not like they're all going to make it out of this
That's
series.
what I was like,
oh, yeah, no.
So one of them's going to be Jason Todd, but not Jason Todd.
You know what's funny is I thought our main character had a lot of attitude issues like Jason Todd.
I was expecting Jason Todd to be in charge of this team.
We don't know.
Well, I think we have an idea.
We don't know.
All right. Well, I don't think it's Jason Todd. I think that'd be a neat idea, but I don't think it ruins the story.
But we assume it's someone else.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
My initial thoughts were, it's a neat idea. I love the idea. I mean, like, we saw it in 86 when we saw the Sons of Batman, the idea of, like, a disaffected youth taking the mantle of a Batman character and then going into the street and disbanding their own form of justice. That said, the idea of being youths, there being Robins.
Well, and focusing on them, too.
Yes, and making it their book.
Yeah.
And there being a colorful character that's bright and hopeful.
Yes.
You know, it definitely sends a different message, and it's much more, positive, and I think that's cool. It also uses characters that are not typical in modern or in mainstream comics, where they're, our protagonist is not like a white male and is like...
Oh, no,
20s.
absolutely. And I thought that was...
It worked out great.
I thought that was really cool, and I really like the fact that it was trying to appeal to a younger
demographic. Yes.
Absolutely.
I also was surprised that it wasn't a girl that was in charge, or that wasn't the main character,
right.
Because of mainstream comics' predilection for like, oh well, if we want to make something new and different, we'll just make it a girl.
Right, and I really appreciate that.
I do, you too. Yeah,
like sometimes they just make decisions because they think it'll sell more.
Yes.
So.
I think this was legitimately a pitch that somebody was like, I think this is a cool idea and we're going to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think of the writing for the book?
It was neat. Like I said, like I kind of like the fact that they made this character Duke. They made him have like these personality traits that did hearken to Jason Todd, which, some people could be like, well, that's just kind of lazy, or like they're just trying to appeal to that sense. But it could also just be like, that's the type of character that would be attracted
to a Robin mantle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's kind of neat. But it's not exactly the same. Like, he has a different situation that's building off of, another event that's occurred, which is interesting because DC says it's getting away from continuity, but they're like, no, there's still some continuity with like this part of this Batman.
Well, I think it's just like the creative team was like, we want to be part of that continuity.
Right, and there you
like,
go.
Okay, go for it then.
Yeah. And like, I thought that was really cool. And I wasn't 100% certain, but I thought it was neat that, and before I even go into this, the villain, was that from like the animated series, that guy?
It really looked like it was the guy from the Underdwellers episode, right? He was created for the cartoon, but I got that vibe immediately. I'm like, oh, the Underdwellers guy!
And like,
who had no powers in the cartoon, but in this one, I guess, has like
something.
Powers.
I don't know. And I thought that if it was him, I thought that was interesting that the writer would want to bring that.
Well, it's because about kids in the sewer,
right?
And they have no parents.
There were adults there too.
Yeah, but it was
like they were just. Well,
but the Robins are the children with no parents who are,
That's true. Yeah. Writing wise, I was like, that's fun. Like they brought a lot of like interesting, ideas and a lot of, and I thought it voice wise, it was interesting. You know what I mean? Like Duke's interactions with people, I think really fit. I thought it was interesting to see Dr. Leslie Tompkins.
Yes.
In that role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for actually doing her job.
Yeah.
Instead of just helping out Batman.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought that was really funny that like he's like she's like, you can't call me Leslie until we meet later on.
Exactly.
And I was like, that's funny because Batman and Crime Alley. But I thought that, like, the foster family, like, that was very real world.
Yeah.
Without it being, like, so stereotypical.
It's
it was
true.
it was enough.
Yeah, it was enough
So-
for you to go, like, go become Robin.
It was enough to... We don't even know that story.
Yeah.
Like, we already know where that's going to go,
Yeah.
and you can just leave.
We don't need
Right.
to see, what... He doesn't have to come back.
I thought it was a very fun voice that Duke Thomas had because it's not a background that we've gotten from
Yes.
Robin yet.
Yeah.
This very, not disillusioned, but someone who understands, like, look, I have a very mixed up past, but I'm on the right side of it. I'm trying to find my parents. Yeah, I'm not staying with foster family. Yeah, I'm causing problems because I am pursuing something.
Right.
And that was cool. I really enjoyed that. The fact that the other Robins found him just leads me to believe that there is this huge network that we are unaware of, that they are very competent in what they're doing. So that's fun.
That's a cool idea. I like the concept. I think it's a neat idea. I think it's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Which is... Oh, go ahead.
The use of text messages back and forth with all of the different names,
Yeah.
I thought was fun, but because I'm, like, in my 30s now, I'm looking at all of it, and I'm just like, are these their actual... These can't be their actual names, right?
Yeah, are these net handles? I don't understand.
I thought that was a clever use of current technology without it being over the top.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, they're like, no, this just makes sense. Why would... What
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
something that DC does really well with, like in the new Batgirl
Yeah.
title.
Yeah.
They also incorporate texts into the art really well.
Yeah.
What else did you guys like about the art, or not like, for that matter?
Okay. I had like, and I did a little comparison of it, and it's not exactly like the same, but I felt like it had this Afro samurai vibe to it.
Yes,
Like, you know, exaggerated limbs, like
especially in the
just-
action sequences.
Yeah, the heavy darks. There was just certain aspects of it where like it had that like anime or pseudo anime kind of feel to it, and I that of course that appealed to me. And I thought that was neat, and I like to see that style paired with a younger generation comic, and I don't mean like for younger generations. I mean like starring
new characters.
or like younger characters
Right.
as well. And I think it, especially for a Robin-based book, to use a style like that, when they're supposed to be so acrobatic,
Yes,
is going to shine. You know, like, I think that that's cool.
I agree.
I really loved the different character designs that they had for the different Robins. The costumes were fun. The actual portrayals of the Robins themselves, the different genders, the different races, very cool. I loved it all. And I really like the reveal of who is sort of behind all of this.
Yeah, I liked that tease.
Even though it's not very clear,
we
you
know it is, and I love that use of that character.
I also thought they did a good job, or the colorist did a good job of punctuating the fact that there is that emphasis, like you said, of like the costumes being like a beacon of hope.
Yes.
And they went to a lot of trouble to make the world not, I don't want to say monochromatic, but like, you know, very dark, you know, like very little, you know, strength to the hues, you know what I mean? Just a lot of muted.
It's devoid of light.
Yeah.
The Robins bring light.
Yeah, and I thought
into the
that
book.
like that was a nice detail, like nice paying attention there.
I agree.
Good work.
So there you go, guys. We are Robin #1. You can pick it up at your local comic book store on digital, and you should do so because we think it's a cool book and it's got some legs. So check it out. We'll see you guys next time on another episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.